visionselfhealing.com, and in this video I'm going to be looking at whether anxiety and stress makes eyesight worse. Now I'm going to start this by dividing the stress and anxiety into two areas, and the first is visual stress, being the actual physical stress of the eye, and the second is going to be how mental stress affects your eyes and affects your vision. So, starting with stress then, if you think about it as far as visual stress is concerned, the physical side, then you know when you've spent a long time sitting in front of the computer that you start to feel strain within your eyes, and that's what I mean when I'm talking about visual stress. You're not blinking enough, because when we're in front of the computer we actually drop our blinking rate by at least a quarter of what it should be. We want to be blinking around 20 times a minute, and in fact the average person only really blinks between 10 or 15 times a minute. And then once we're in front of a computer screen or reading a book or concentrating on something, and it really drops down to about 5. Now the reason why the blinking is so important is it moistens the eye and actually makes vision clearer by doing so, because it helps lubricate the surface of the eye, and it means that the refraction can take place that little bit better. It also means that it's protecting the eye. What's in that fluid when we actually blink, some of it is to actually prevent bacteria and stuff from attacking the eye, but it also brings protection in general to the eye. So by blinking we're helping to reduce the strain in that sense. But you also think that when you're staring at something, if you think of somebody in a flight or fight mode, and somebody's going to attack you, or imagine you were out in the jungle and there was a tiger or something, then your eyes just go wide open and you very rarely blink. Well, now put yourself in the position of being in front of a computer or reading a book, and notice that it's actually the same response. The eyes are wide open and you're not blinking, because you're trying to engage, you're trying to take in all the information that is in front of you, and you're trying to concentrate as much as possible. So that's creating a visual stress. You're forcing the eyes to be open, you're not relaxed. You'll probably also notice that your breathing is shallow, and the muscles in the neck are tight. So that's a very stressful situation for the eye. You're not relaxed at all, and you're also converging the muscles constantly. You're looking just a foot in front of you instead of having the eyes relaxed and looking out into the distance. So in all, it's creating this stressful environment, making it difficult for the eye to function. And of course, if you're underneath this environment, then you become fatigued. If you think about yourself in your daily life or daily work life, imagine if you're in the office and there's all these tasks that are be demanding on you. You've got deadlines, somebody's handing you bits of paper, you've got to go and meet somebody for lunch, you've got to go and make this phone call and that phone call. There's all these demands on you. By the end of the day, you're exhausted. Now, very few of us, when we have those days and we're completely exhausted, do we then go and have a workout, or go and carry on doing 6 or 7 more hours of work after one of those busy days. But if you think about it in eyesight terms, when we put it under that amount of strain, we still expect it to continue afterwards, and we even expect it to continue better, and we get frustrated when we find that our eyes aren't as clear or working as effective as they should be in the evening times. And then of course we turn to glasses, or sort of operations, because such as LASIK, because we expect our eyes to be seeing crystal clear 24/7. So that's the sort of physical strain that you're putting on your eye, and as you can see, that's obviously going to affect clarity and your ability to see. But also the mental stress. And a lot of the time, if you think about it, if you're mentally stressed and you've got all these things going on in your life, then you will find that your eyesight actually gets poor. And it was Dr. William Bates who originally found that when he used his retinopathy scope to look at patients' eye, that when they were anxious, it was actually changing the shape of their eye, and it was actually making it that much more difficult for them to see. And now, if you think about yourself in those stressful times, be it losing a loved one, or having a lot of work on, or anything that creates a lot of emotional stress, you'll find that in fact your vision is affected as well. And that's a lot of time when people, in particular middle-aged people, then turn towards things like glasses, because they find that they're in that stressful time and their eyes aren't keeping up with the lifestyle that they want them to do, and they think their vision's getting worse. So try and be aware of that, and see if you can even notice it in your daily life, how in fact the stress is affecting it. And a good example of this is when you go to your opticians, or in fact you just go to get your eye tested. And when you do get your eyes tested, notice that a lot of the time it's a very stressful situation. You're worried about whether your vision's going to get worse. Do you have to buy new glasses? Do you have presbyopia, and do I have this condition that I'm told that I'm going to get at 45, or these predetermined dates that you're going to just get these conditions. So it's a very stressful environment that you're in. Sometimes you might not be familiar with the person checking your eyes. In fact, the process of being tested itself can be very stressful. And of course, that's putting strain under your eyes, so that when you're actually getting tested for your glasses, then it's not a true representation of your natural relaxed vision that you have in your general day. It'd be interesting if you head over to our website at envisionselfhealing.com, go to the resources section, and you'll find some vision charts there. If you checked your vision at the weekend when you're nice and relaxed, go outside, go out to the park, play a bit of ball or whatever, test your vision on the chart, and then check your vision a week later after a long day's work, or a time when you're stressed, and see if you actually notice a difference between the two, to prove this point that in fact the mental stress that you're under does actually have an effect on your vision. And it's very important for you to be aware of that, because we put a unrealistic demand on our vision to be perfect all the time, and in fact our moods and the situations that we're under do play a factor as far as that's concerned. Anxiety then, I'm going to be treating a little bit separately in talking about this, and that's because I'm going to focus more on people with conditions such as retinitis pigmentosa, or maybe somebody that's lost some of their peripheral field if they've got glaucoma. And the point that they notice a decrease in their vision when they're out in maybe public, where there's a lot of people walking around, or a lot of noises, or they're just in a situation that's making them anxious. And a lot of the time it gets reported to me from my clients, and also I notice myself that maybe if I'm in an anxious situation, that it becomes that much more difficult to actually see. And you can pay attention to this yourself. Say you're out in public and you were just out in the park and just relaxing, and you'll be able to notice that you might be able to see more out in your periphery, or whatever it is that your condition is. You're nice and relaxed, you're out with your friends, it's a nice sunny day, very minimal noise, you're just relaxing. And pay attention to your surroundings, or whatever it is that you normally find it difficult to see, and notice that you might be picking up some more information, or how clear maybe your vision is. Then pay note of yourself being in, say for me, downtown San Francisco, midday on a Saturday, hundreds of people walking around, cars driving past, taxis beeping their horns, you've got people coming in and out of shops, lots of noises of people talking, and people asking you questions, and everybody's close to you. It's creates a lot of mental stress and anxiety. And it's very difficult on all our senses that we normally rely on, as well as just vision. But if you allow the anxiety to take over and that stress to take over, you'll notice that your vision, say for example, if you had retinitis pigmentosa or poor periphery, your vision will shrink right down,
And as it shrinks, you get more and more stress because you can't see, and then you get worried about bumping into someone. You know, and what if you embarrass yourself, and what if you fall over? And these scenarios snowball, and before you know it, your vision has really shrunk down to a tiny amount, where it gets to a point where, you know, you're left leaving with very negative emotions about that situation. Whereas in fact, if you were in that environment and, you know, it starts getting busy, what have you, and you knew that this anxiety was going to take place, and you could just sort of relax and just try and be in the environment and just try and work your periphery and be there instead of getting stressful about it, then you will actually notice that your vision won't deteriorate as much, and it will be easier for you to be in this environment. So I really wanted to just touch base there on some of those points, because it's something that's coming up very regularly with a lot of my clients, that the stress and anxiety really is exacerbating the situation with your vision. And in fact, if you can learn to try, and it's not easy, but to try and be relaxed in these environments, then you'll find that your vision won't be as poor, and instead of being left with negative emotions about your eyes and about them getting worse and blah 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 blah, you're feeling a lot more positive and understand that in fact these situations contribute to the poor vision, and it's something that can be worked on and something that can be improved. So I hope you like this video. You can find out a lot more tips in our free ebook, A Modern Day Guide to Improving Eyesight, which can be found on our website at envisionselfhealing.com, and there's more information there on how you can actually sign up for that book. And you can also check out our podcast that we put up every week. We put it up on YouTube, but you can also find it on iTunes. Just search for How to Improve Eyesight, and we're up there, the #1 spot. So you can also catch up with me on Facebook or on Twitter, William Fuller EN, or you can just search for William Fuller Envision. And you could also go over to our Facebook fan page at envisionselfhealing.com and find out what's going on there. So I hope everything's going well with your exercises, and with this stress anxiety thing, you could always try a vision journal, which is always going to help. So maybe get that vision journal going today and start paying attention to how stress and anxiety can actually affect your eyesight. And of course, as always, feel free to post some comments at the bottom of this video, or indeed give us an email and let us know how you're getting on. So hope all is well with your exercises, and happy healing.